My name is Kamal and I am from the Bhutanese community. I came to Australia in 2008 as a refugee, originally from Bhutan. So in terms of my community involvement, I have been involved in different community activities, been helping to Bhutanese community members in varieties of areas as a chairperson of the Bhutanese Australian Association of South Australia, and at the moment I am serving as a general secretary of the association. The community itself is very important for us. We have got around 4,500 settled in South Australia. We help each other and connect with each other in terms of any activities we do, support each other. So the community in the sense is very important to us. So this topic, the palliative care topic, is quite interesting. It is very important in terms of community perspective, because the palliative care is totally new for our community, because experiencing about palliative care in Australia is very different than that of what we used to have previously in Bhutan or in the refugee camp. So understanding about palliative care is very important, and the services that are available during the time of palliative care is also important for the community to know about it. So this has helped me to provide some sort of information to the community about palliative care.
So Kamal, really thanks for coming, and we're really excited. We're hoping that you'll help us understand how we might use what I'll show you, our project looking at brilliance at the end of life, into your community. And it's an area that every culture and every community has many barriers and things that we should respect in how we talk about these things. And so we've been looking at in the Australian community in the Lower McEwen. And we've looked at what this means within our palliative care team here in Narlan, in the Northern Adelaide Local Health Network, what we're seeing in the acute hospital, and now we're hoping to understand what will happen in the Bhutanese, the Aghani and the Syrian communities, and that's why we're talking to you. And trying to learn what we're really seeing and then interpreting that to give power to the people who are probably the most vulnerable, to the patients, the people who feel even threatened by health systems, and by, certainly, I think we all feel threatened when we think about death or an approaching end of life. I've got a bit of film to show you about what we've been doing, so it gives you some idea what it's like for these people. And this is an interaction on the ward where two nurses need to go in and give him some pain relief, and there's a whole lot of process tick boxes that they need to do, two of them checking it off, checking who he is. But I think this shows how they can do it but make it not a sterile, unfriendly thing.
Well, yeah.
Hey Archie!
Come on.
Just got some pain relief for you, love.
Could use some, believe me.
Just got some morphine syrup for you before you have a shower.
Oh, this is the one, is it?
So just check you off. So can you tell us?
Gun, 14/9/1945.
071413.
Correct. Any allergies to anything, Archie? Got a list?
Yeah, don't know what they are, I really don't. It's only since the last 2 weeks.
Morphine, nurses.
Morphine.
Are you allergic to morphine?
No, they said he's not allergic.
They said not to try this morphine syrup.
Yeah. So it'll help with your breathing.
That was the doctor, so that's what she was talking about just before.
Takes the struggle away, the work of breathing, alright? Gets your body relaxed.
Yeah.
Into your side of your cheek so it doesn't go down the back of your throat and choke you.
Yeah.
Alright?
Yeah.
It's not much.
You got a chaser? You might want a mouthful of water after that.
Chaser sounds like an alcohol drink, doesn't it?
Well, it's like some people like it and some people think it's rubbish.
Tastes like shit smells.
I don't think you're supposed to say
I'll put some in the syringe just to get that last drop out. Good God. Here's some water for.
Sorry about that.
Now we have started with a low dose for you, Archie, so
Yes.
please let us know whether or not you have felt that that has helped with your
Yeah.
breathing.
I'm
Or
going
not.
straight in the shower after we're done here as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So let us know, and also because they said you're not allergic, but it is on your list. Just let us know if you start getting any itching anywhere or come up in a rash anywhere.
It was just
Yeah.
hallucinating.
Okay.
I thought there was spiders everywhere.
Right, so it's just you might get hallucinations. So let us know if you're starting to have any of those visual effects as well. Okay.
If you see any numbers on the wall, you know, namely 6 of them,
That's what happened the first
write
time.
them down and flick them off to me, alright?
Anne's been chasing them for months. All right, thank you, Archie.
Thanks a lot.
So, typical daily practice in the
Oh,
acute
yeah.
hospital, but it was very friendly, wasn't it? They made a
Yeah.
really safe place. How did they do it? Well, Kathy thought they were confident, but they used humour, banter, simple language. They explained what they were doing. And this family asked that we use this vignette to show medical students and nursing students so they could understand what they need to do, but how they can do it in a friendly way. What we're hoping is that you could tell us a bit about what you think might be important, how we could get a similar message or what the message should be to your community. So in Bhutan, how is death managed? Is it spoken of? How would it normally be managed in the community there?
So as you know, like most of the people, they pretty much they desire to die at home instead of dying in the hospital. So that's one of the key points that I wanted to highlight.
So the family would provide care. Would there be any nurses or any doctors at all?
So family would provide care at their home. Like if they have to take to the hospital, the nurses and the doctors obviously will provide them care, but at the same time family members would be always there to take care of the person
in the hospital,
in the hospital as well. People often they don't like to talk about dying, like they don't want to hear the word dying. So, but like being in 21st century, obviously we need to understand what is palliative care and what are the process that involves when caring with people. We use priest, like maybe if he's a Christian, the Christian like the father comes and just do the prayer or something like that. And also in terms of Buddhist, the Buddhist monk come and do the prayer where the dying person is. It might be in the hospital, it might be in at home. It is fortunate for us to practice those cultural practices when we are away from our homeland.
So that's a really important thing, because in the first video, the fellow was actually saying how good it was to have his own space, to have his own room, which would then allow family and other community members to participate in the care of that person or to be there.
Yep.
So that's probably a really important point.
So that's definitely what happens. Like at the time, like most of the community, like the relatives or the other community members, they wanted to come and talk to the person who is dying and just wanted to say goodbye. Those things is not new in the community, but that has been has been for a long time.
And so, are there things that have not gone well at end of life in your community that might help us understand where we could do better?
I think there is a gap between caring at home and in the hospital. So they prefer to be care at home, but like the alternative way is been, the hospital caring environment would be more preferable.
Yeah. So what are the languages we should use? We're talking in English, obviously, but is that a dominant language in your community?
So we might be using Nepali language, which is most of the people, they understand the language, Nepali language, which it is, although it is for people who are like older generation, they don't have English, and the Nepali is the first language. So Nepali language would be preferable.
It sounds to me like there's a whole lot of work we need to do about letting the community know about what services there are, who can come to the house.
We also struggle, because we need to borrow words from other languages as well. We also struggle to get the right word for that. So definitely that would be working point to get the appropriate word in Nepali language as well.
Good. So we thought that we'd ask you to find some members in your community.
I've been looking forward to just talk to them.
So they
and
might be able to talk about what their
more
experience was to the community, and hopefully there's some
Yes.
education and good things for
yeah.
your community, but also back for us as well, so we can do even better.
Do it better, yeah. Welcome everyone. Thank you for coming in. So this morning we will be discussing about palliative care within the Bhutanese community and bit of understanding about palliative care in a cultural way, in a religious or in a community perspective. The floor is open, so we can discuss about what is palliative care and what is the understanding about the palliative care within our community.
In Bhutan, because in the our elderlies, like whether they are sick or they are aged, when they are taken to hospital, in the last stage, hospital says that you take them home. But here, they from medical ward, they will just suggest us to take her or him to palliative care. So still care is going on from the government side or the hospitals. They just take care of them up to the last breath. But in Bhutan, when the hospital or medical ward says that no more we can just care, then and they will ask to bring back home.
Yep. So you mentioned that you cared for your mom for 17 months. So what are the resources that you got from the palliative care system to care for your mom?
My mom, she was wanting to go home because I want to die. If I have to die, I will die at home. So finally we discussed the matter with palliative care, and they just supported us at home. So when we just brought our mom home, the palliative care maybe in alternate days or the daily they were just coming to look after my mom. So it was very, very helpful. Yeah.
The palliative care itself is a sensitive topic for most of the Bhutanese community. Like in the community, who is going to die in few hours or few days or few months, really don't want to talk about it. So which is very sensitive. It adds the distress, trauma, anxiety to him or herself, and also to the family, family members. So this is very sensitive topic. There are a lot of topics that can be discussed, but this topic looks like sensitive.
I think we have to say indirectly that suppose if somebody is going to die, if we know is that, we can say something like, what will be your last wish, something like that, not directly telling that you are going to die, something like that. We have to tell him indirectly, so that if he accept, then we can.
So I think in our culture, death is not accepted as a natural process. It's to me as well, if someone says I'm dying, it will be like a failure in my part, because there are so many things that has to be achieved which I haven't done, and then death is considered totally unacceptable. We don't talk about it like we discuss about other things like marriage, about birth. We don't celebrate death. It's completely different. We all fear death. It's not open at all. No one talks about it.
As I think you might have heard, one of the participants spoke about she was scared going near to a person who is dying. So there's that sort of stigma, that sort of the anxiety or that sort of fear comes in when we discuss about this topic.
At the end of the life, people want to die on the lap of the family. The service providers should know about the desires of the person, what he or she wants, and try to understand the desires of the family members.
Actually, I learned a lot of things while discussing, because there are the difference between the caring parents and then totally someone who is unknown about the palliative care. So almost all things that we discuss has been are the important topic to be take away. Because as I mentioned before, palliative care is totally new to our community. We have been here only 10 years, but communication not been delivered properly because of the language barrier. So all the materials published has been in English, so there are nothing written in the Nepali language. So this is also one of the barrier that the community members not been able to identify what services are available and what area of the service is available in which places. And mostly most of the people believes that there are no choice, no control, but there are choice and control in taking services either like in the hospital or caring at home.